Hi there, everyone. Doing another Insta Live talking about our topic of the week, and I am inviting one of my very good friends. Book that she just put it out. I'm hitting the wave while I can. I like this little wave button. Hello, everyone. If you want to drop a hi in the chat, and hopefully my friend Pam will be joining us in the next minute. What we are talking about this week is raising boys who will respect. Hello there. Good to see you. We are talking about boys who will respect women as they get older. And what's that look like? What's that look like at home? What's that look like in the workplace? All of those different things. So hello, I love the highs. Thank you so much. I'm going to have join us is Pam, and she is the founder of the Purpose Den. And Pam has a great story about how she left corporate world, followed her dream to start a community of, it says she was unable to join. So I'm going to invite her one more time, see if this works. Powerful. Let me invite her again, see if it works. And if not, I may have to start and stop again. Sometimes it does that. But she's the starter of the Purpose Den, and she published a book about nuggets to take you on in life, to take you through life. And I met her randomly through a way to, she joined. She's going to hop on here in just a second. Let me see. She's going to pop in here. Maybe. Pam, were you able to get on? I invited her in. See if it works here. I see she's watching. So let me send one more thing on here. Oh, she's there. I hear her.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh,
thank you for your
thank
patience,
you.
everyone.
You know, I guess I cannot go live from my computer. I have to do it from my phone.
Did we run into that
I
the
think
last
we
time?
did.
I think we may have run into that the last time. It seems like it's been ages ago now. I was just telling everyone the awasomeness of you, introducing you a bit, former COO of an insurance company, like a badass in the corporate world, left to go help other women. So I won't fully introduce you. I'll introduce myself. For those of y'all who normally don't follow me, I am Suzanne. I'm a wife, mom, TV news boss whose passion is helping women just live out the talents they were born with, and juggling faith, family, and career while doing that. I have a almost 13-year-old son. I lead one of the nation's leading newsrooms. Did I just lose Pam? I may have lost her. I may have to invite her again. Let me do this again. Let me see. She may have a signal issue. We'll see. I just invited her again.
So
Are you there? Okay, good. You're there. Okay. It is okay. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about you, your story, and then I've got a couple questions, then we're going to talk about your book.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you. I love watching you every night, and everything that you're putting out in the world is such goodness. So thank you for that. And it's very encouraging. So for people that don't know me, I'm Pam Drzwicki, and I am a former COO, a recovering people pleaser. And what I do is I'm a life and business coach for women, and I help them thrive. I help them thrive in the world that they live in right now. Similar to the message that you give, Suzanne, right? Like, the work that I do really helps them personally and professionally grow and not have to change everything, but maybe just take a look at where they are in their chapter right now and make a few little tweaks. And then all of a sudden, life feels ideal. And it's interesting because quite a few months ago, I ran into an old friend and they asked me how I was doing. And I said, I am actually doing fantastic. I'm like living my ideal life. And she was a little taken aback by that. Well, wow, that must be nice, right? That must be good. Good for you. How do you do that? And basically, it's exactly what I do with my clients and the women in my community is we share along. It's not perfect, right? But it is exactly where I need to be. And I understand what I need to thrive every day. And it may be different for somebody else, but that's the beauty of working and talking with people, because you may find that a little bit of this and a little bit of that is what you really need to make it an ideal life. So right now, it's absolutely fantastic, and it has been fantastic for quite a few years. So, love it.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it, and love how you help other people. Love the fact that you entered
Too.
my life, and we've been able to help each other out. So my topic of the week, as you know from following, is raising
Mm-hmm.
boys who will respect women. And, you're not like, some people be like, why am I not talking to like a mom of four boys? What I love about you is you have a blended family, but you also lived in corporate world what it's like to work with men who may or may not respect women. And I would love to, I've been sharing a lot of data about how the difference of boys who grow up in homes with working moms, how that like shows up at work and in the rest of their lives. I would just love to know or hear that in your time in corporate world, when you weren't in this, could you tell who was raised to respect women? Like, was there like like, could you tell in your interaction, like, you know what I mean? Like that was something in their life
Mm-hmm.
and it carried out into their
Absolutely.
adulthood.
You could definitely see it, especially in the industry that I was in. Like your industry, it could be a very male dominating industry. So
Mm-hmm.
it was interesting to see that even though I knew, and you could tell which men were raised by women with respect, to give women respect, they came across differently too because of what they've created in their world. Does that make sense? So they were taught one thing, they
Mm-hmm.
had the great values, but there may have been some things along the way for them to become successful, change the way they interacted with the other women inside the office. So um, it's really because if I take the corporate world versus my brother is absolutely amazing, and he respects his wife, and he has two boys and a girl, and it is beautiful. You see what a family man he is, and he is a high power mortgage broker making very good money, very successful, but he never forgets about his family and his faith. And I think that is the key to a lot of it is what is the foundation are they being raised in that makes a difference.
So as boys entered your life and you are like a power woman, what were your thoughts of being part of those boys' lives as they became adults and being exposed to you, like a woman in the workforce and getting it? Like, did you think about like how that
Well,
would impact
it
their
is.
view down
It's
the road?
I see one of the reasons why I left the job that I left was because I did come home one day and my family was sitting at the kitchen table waiting for me to eat dinner. And we, like you said, we are a blended family. I have a daughter and Michael has a daughter and a son. And they were all sitting around waiting for me to
Mm-hmm.
eat dinner. And I thought that was just, and Michael was there with them, which is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. Is beautiful. But I think at my stage in my life, at that point, there was a mixed message of what needed to be delivered to these children. And I wanted to be present. And it's interesting is that my stepson, who I consider my blood son, um, is such an amazing young man, and he's grown up to be such an amazing young man. And he shows me pictures of dishes that he's made and his fresh vegetables that he picked because we cooked together. That's what we did in my kitchen. in our kitchen. We cook together. So
Mm.
I really believe that we have the influence on so many people around us. And I think the missing part of a lot of what's going on is missing that father figure for these boys to grow up around. And women are beautiful to help men grow and boys to grow into men, because the tenderness and everything else that we could give, and to still show how strong we are. Because now the kids see me as, oh, I don't work at that insurance office anymore. It didn't matter what my title was, because they didn't know the difference. It was just that he and they knew. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the support of my husband, who was raised by a very, very strong mom, very strong woman.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the baby of 5, and his dad was in the Navy. So there was that foundation that he brings into our family. So it's beautiful understanding that. Like, I was catching the beginning while I was trying to get on about your son and you guys having a date night, which absolutely love, by the way, and him wanting to maybe come home to play his game. And you're right. He might not be present right now, but he's never going to forget that. And I think that's what it is the precious moments to help raise these boys to be respectful, hardworking men, providers for their families.
Are you guys a very divide and conquer house? Or there's, you said that your, stepson and you cooked together, and, before you left corporate world, that your, husband was there at the table with them. Are you still very much a divide and conquer? That's not a, like, my job, his role, whatever, especially since your husband came up in a house with a strong woman?
It's interesting. When we blended our families, we were family. So that meant that it wasn't his and hers, it was ours. And even with the house, it was always like that. So in order for me to switch my role to start my own business 6 years ago, Michael's career had to change, and a trajectory of success for him has flourished by supporting each other through the process. And you had the ability to meet Michael, so he's just...
I did.
Mm-hmm.
And he is so supportive of you. Like, just there. It's funny. I met him at your Purpose Den Live, and it wasn't like a domineering, I'm the man here to help my wife, I've got it figured out. It was a purely loving, this is me here to see her succeed, and however I can be in the background and help her succeed, because this is her thing. And then you talking about his stuff when we were at dinner, and how you are so happy for, like, you guys kind of like, took turns, and he's like flourishing in that. And it was very much a supporting each other, and not like a hierarchy, feeling. It's just dividing it. So you have a 16-year-old daughter. What is it that you would like, and I'm assuming, I have not met Reagan. I've met your husband, but I'm assuming, from what I've heard, she's a getter. You know what I mean? It's, yeah, she's like her mama. So what is it that you would like moms of boys to know, as she's becoming a woman who's going to probably want to go out there and get it, or maybe not? But what is it you would like moms of boys to keep in mind as the mom of a 16-year-old?
She has an amazing boyfriend, by the way. He is absolutely a love, and he's raised by an amazing single mom, strong single mom with very great values. So he definitely shows up. You could tell how he's being raised. We pull in, we go to the grocery store, he grabs the bags without even me asking him to take the bags into the house. So there's a lot of like really beautiful things. And that's why this was such an exciting conversation for me, because I see it in him. And for moms out there, is continue to share with your sons that it's okay for women to be successful and it's okay for us to be strong. But I appreciate a door being open for me. And that could be my old values, right? And I'm a big believer in that Proverbs 31, that whole woman section of Proverbs 31, especially 31:25. It's just so powerful that when you have raised your son to be respectful and to allow the woman in their life to flourish and not feel threatened by that, I think it is so impactful. And then it allows them to be a beautiful role model and share in the glory of what it's like to be a man and be raised with those values. I just think it's amazing. So if we could keep on doing that and keep on sharing that. Now, Sean, our son, is 26. He's out of the house. He's got 20 acres of land up in upstate New York. He's got a farm going. But it's so funny is that his girlfriend is the farmer. So, all right. So he loves it too, but he's cybersecurity. So it's like, again, a beautiful meld of two worlds coming together. And I really believe that's what it's from. It's from the faith and from the lessons that we continue to give.
Awesome. So speaking of beautiful things coming together, this Amazon guy dropped it off this week. Tell everyone about, again, your den. What prompted you to do this? Your favorite stories. I have a chapter in here, which I'll talk about in a second. But you tell everyone about it first.
Like I said, I'm a life and business coach, and I love helping women. But then I'm very, very strong calling to creating a community. I would say a sisterhood of women to come together, and that's what I started. It was about 2 years ago that the Purpose Den became an idea of mine. And I started reaching out to women and I was bringing them together. And through that process, it went through a lot of changes. But through that process, I was like, I'm going to have a live event because it was my 1 year anniversary. And that's when Suzanne, I put a call out to speakers and she came and we had 6 speakers that day. We had almost 50 women join us. It was absolutely amazing, right? Like it was just beautiful. All of the messages were so aligned and there was so much great energy in the room. So that's what the Purpose Den is. It's live events, it's online meetings, it's motivational, there's spiritual sections in there. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But during my planning process, I always do my budget planning at the beginning of the year. Like, okay, where am I going to spend my funds and how do I want to increase the awareness? And during my journaling and prayer time one morning, I was journaling around that and praying around what should be next. And that's when the book came up. And so in December of last year, I was like, I'm gonna do a book. And Michael was like, that's great. I was like, no, not myself this time. I do have another one coming at some in the year or so, but for me, my personal stuff. But I was like, no, I feel it needs to be something to bring the community together, to let these women, whoever wants to be involved in this project, to share their stories, because I think it's imperative for us to know we're not alone. And that's what ended up happening. So one of the members of the den kind of played around with stuff like that. And again, I'm a big believer of having women inside the den be part of whatever's happening. So if there's a podcast, which you've been on my podcast, or anything that I do, I like to highlight members. And that's what this book is all about. It's highlighting the amazing women that said yes, that said, yeah, I want to tell my story. And I love it. I think the book is beautiful. It is available on Kindle, but it's nothing like that copy with the pages, the different colors, and the feel of the cover.
Oh, yeah.
It's just everything. Yes. Yes. So did I hit everything, I think? Yeah.
You hit. So share, if you want to just give it top examples of some of the lessons that women would read about in here.
So they could find lessons on boundary setting, which is huge. So the big no's are really making room for us to say yes in other areas. Friendships. I'd love for you to talk about that.
Yeah, that was my chapter.
The hell yeses, the hell no's, and the maybes. Like, how do you really break that down? There's a beautiful story of a single mother who's an immigrant, who it's her memoir of how she came from, Malaysia to this country and everything like that. There's other stories about a woman that is actually the graphic designer of that cover. Her mom inspired her, wanted her to be a waitress. That's what she thought she would be good at. And not being anything about that, but that's what the moms thought. And she went off to school and became an amazing graphic designer. So there's sisterhood story in there. There's a story about introvert and how she found out that she was different, but it was a good different. And so there's 14 stories like that inside the book. They're absolutely amazing.
My story, without giving it all away, is I was at a point in my life where I felt like I was ready to do something big. And I was meeting one of my friends out, and I remember like getting down on my knees, which is something I don't do very often, probably should do more, and literally said, God, I'm ready for that big thing. And I was so disappointed coming from that lunch because the big thing I thought she was going to ask me to do didn't come up. Instead, it was joining a group of women that led to friendships. And that started a ball rolling that I believe actually even led to the things that have led me to Pam and her den and all of those things. Like, friendships sometimes are the big thing we need. And what is it we're doing to make room for new friendships and new people in our lives? So I think it was a wake-up call to me that I needed. The dogs in the neighborhood. My apologies, folks. They are happy. It's amazing. Okay. That's what happens when we chat on the back deck. Like, I think for me, it was a message about maybe you need to stop obsessing about doing things and doing big things and work on big relationships.
I think so too.
And people.
I think that that's so important, is that we create these friendships, and we're groomed to have friendships as youngsters, right? And then as we get older, we create friendships in different spots, and then we move on. And sometimes it's hard to keep those friendships alive because your new spot is growing and is pulling you in a different direction as well. So that's why I love the story of the new friendships, because keeping ourselves open for that space, getting off of the crazy hamster wheel and slowing down and being intentional, because that's what it's all about, is truly finding our way to be intentional. So yeah.
Awesome. It is always a joy talking to you. It was my first ever, it's just so everyone knows, my first time to Connecticut ever was for your live event. And I'm coming up to see you and staying in that place that you have at some point, just so you know.
So we would love to have you. Absolutely. And there will be another live event in the fall. So just, I'll keep you posted and keep everybody posted. But that book could be found on Amazon, right?
I would say tell people Amazon is where you can do it. There's the hardcover, which by the way has a great place to take notes. Like you can make like kind of a study out of this, and it's like, you know, it'd be a good 2-week study and journal it. You could even, I would say people, you could even do this in a book club, like with other women, and meet over a course of like several months and just read a chapter and then talk about it and write
That's
notes.
great.
Just so much that you could do with this. So it's Amazon.
There is.
Yeah, you said there's a Kindle version too. For those of y'all who don't obsess about
I like
holding a book. I like to hold the book.
I mean, I do Audible.
I do too.
Because I walk and listen. But when I have books, I just like my favorite book every morning is my Jesus Calling book. Every single morning, I have this. I could read it on my phone, but I need it. I need it in my hands. So,
do you know what I do? I will get the Audible version of the book I'm reading because I can be so ADD and listen and read it at the same time. Truth. That's where I am, folks.
That's awesome.
That's where I am. Anyway, so yeah, check out Pam's book on Amazon and her Purpose Den. If anybody is looking for a community or a coach or any of that, Pam is your person. How do they find you? Just on Facebook?
Or they could go on to my website,
the Purpose Den?
which is powerful-purpose.com. And all my contact and my resources are there. And I'm heavy on Instagram and Facebook under Take Back My Life on Facebook. So you could find me there as well, or LinkedIn. I'm everywhere.
You are everywhere. My heart is happy after a busy day decompressing, talking with you out on the back deck. So thanks to everyone for joining us for a live back deck chat. Thank you, Pam. I will be back here for another live next week, recorded the rest of the week. I'll see everyone else back here tomorrow.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.